Hello, my name is Bradley and I'm your host of The Internal Game. So today's video is going to be a little bit more of a kind of get you guys motivated, inspired, pump you up a little bit, remind you to boss up. I saw a quote last night that said, would you still believe in what you believe in if you were the only one who believed it? Would you still believe in what you believed in if you were the only one who believed it? That's what we're doing here, people. I'm telling you right now, there is no one to convince except for yourself. The only person that you have to convince about your manifestation, your desire, the only person that you have to convince that has it is you. The only person that you have to convince that it's possible is you. The only person that you have to convince that is going to do it is you. And I'm not hating on people, man, because like they're stuck in their ways, and most of the time they don't know about stuff like this. But people are dream killers a lot of times. You tell them, hey man, I'm thinking about quitting my job, or at least starting my side hustle and growing my business while I'm working, and they're just like, oh man, don't do that, dude. Don't do that, man. Like what happens if this and what happens if that? And then you start buying into that, when really whatever you said to a person at that moment right then, whatever they say back is what you have in your consciousness. That's why Neville says use people as messengers, right? Because if you say something like that and you don't really believe it within self, they're just going to reflect that back to you. And if you're so used to buying into the 3D and what the outside world says, then you just buy into it and you keep it at play, and then you're like, okay, I'm not going to do my side hustle. You're right, dude. I wasn't thinking about it. No, you don't need to talk to nobody about anything. You don't need to convince anybody. You don't need to call your SP up and convince you or express your love and convince them and try to convince them that you're the person for them, because all that you guys have been through, and why don't you see me because I'm the one who loves you? Like, you don't need, no, have some self-respect. You don't need to be chasing nobody. Like, the only person that needs to be convinced that you are right for SP's right for you, and you guys are in a perfect harmonious relationship is you. It's about time you guys really step into this role of who you actually are and start calling the shots from a place of confidence, from a place of knowing, from a place of saying, everything is just me. And whatever I say and what I believe in here is going to be reflected back. I saw an interview with Conor McGregor. I love the UFC. I love combat sports. And he was talking about how his dad told him, like, hey, no, you're a plumber. This is what we do here in Ireland. Like, you are a tradesman pretty much, and you're wasting your time. You're wasting life. He's like, me and my dad had pretty much split our relationship because I was telling him that I wanted to be a fighter, and he was like, at that time, nobody from Ireland had ever made it to the UFC. It wasn't a thing. And he's like, and not only did I say I was going to the UFC, he said I was going to be the most famous UFC fighter of all time and make more money than I knew what to do with. And he was like, people weren't even making millions then. He's like, but like, when I told people that, they were like, no. So he worked on his belief, his craft, and guess what? He was the only person to believe it. That's why Neville says, you just step into the state, embody this version of you, and then the world will play its part. The only person that you're convincing is you, because there's only you out there. That's it. I try to hone these ideas into you guys, like, because the outside really is secondary. And I get it, dudes and dudettes. I get that it can be planes and water. But I get that it can be easy to fall for that, but like, you have to stop. Like, you have to literally look at everything as just a messenger, letting you know what's going on. And even if you say, oh, you know, I've been convincing myself this past week or past day or past whatever, like, and people are still saying this or this is still showing up, That's why, because you keep saying this is still doing this. That stuff is dead. You can literally remind yourself real fast, oh, that's the old story playing out. Like, this is the new me. This has to happen. This has to play. The only person that I have to convince is myself. Nothing exists outside of you. Everyone is mirroring back you. I don't care if you're going for a job interview and you don't get it. After you just told yourself that you were going to get it, you still tell yourself that you got it. You convince yourself you got it. Watch what happens. You walk in there knowing, or you can walk in there knowing and really be in that knowing and be like, this person would be lucky for me to work here, because I am the fucking man. I am the woman for this job. Like, I am the best. Get the job. I'm just saying, if you didn't get it, you can revise and say you did. Stay in the knowing, and you'll get it. Like, the only person you got to convince that you're the best for the job is you, and it will be reflected back to you. The only person that you have to convince that has a bunch of money in their account is you, and then it will be reflected back to you. Some automated system, some bank teller, some whoever, some loan officer, they are reflecting back you. This is for everything, people. It's not just your specific person. It's not your money. This is everything is reflecting back you. So you have to step into that. No, I've been getting emails about one-on-ones. They're like, man, we're seeing your channel grow, and I love this because it's like, man, I had 8 months of just like kind of letting it up to the whatever, saying embody the state, learning all this stuff, putting it out there. That's what I tell myself. I'm just gonna put it out there. The second I said, dude, what the, like that. The second I actually bought into my own teachings and bought into like this whole idea, was like, and really grasped the idea, and it clicked. I was like, what are you talking about, Bradley? What are you leaving what up to the universe? You are the universe. What, am I leaving it up to me? Am I leaving it up to me? Because if I'm leaving it up to me, then I say, yes, this is what I want. This is what I have right now. And then guess what happened? Things started to shift. Whole new reality. So anytime that you say stuff like that, you're leaving it up to you. So if you doubt, that's reflected. Hold on, someone's passing by. Okay. The perks of the park, right? But again, a couple days I'll be able to be filming at my house again. But yeah, think about this. How many times have you said, I'm going to set my intention and leave it up to the universe? From now on, anytime you think of universe or God, just say, okay, whatever I want from that, it's me, and I'm going to give it to myself. Because if I'm leaving it up to the universe, that means I'm leaving it up to me. If I'm praying to God, God said, what I asked for in prayer, believe that I've received it, and it shall be mine. So that means He's saying it's up to me to believe it. And I say, yes, this is what I want. And that means I have to stop doubting. It means I have to stop trying to manipulate the outside world, trying to tell my SP that, like, well, why don't you read my text? And like, do you see how much I love you? Or telling me, like, oh, they're not texting back. They were having some, like, this happens. And I can't explain to you guys how many times someone tells me or sends me a text or an email and says, okay, things were going good, but it's still doing like this. And they'll say, what's going on? And I just want to circle the part where they say, but he or she is still doing this. Circle that part. That's what's going on right there. You're leaving it up to it's illusion, but you're thinking, you're telling a story that's unfavorable. You've put your awareness on what they're still not doing, what you're still not seeing, and you are just not in your power. Like, the only person you have to convince in this new story is the true story kind of thing. The only person you have to convince that this is how it's happening right now is you. The only person that has to convince that you got a bunch of money coming in is you. You don't need to try to figure it out. You don't need to try to like manipulate outside scenarios and see if this is working and that's working. No, the outside has to catch up to whatever you have going on inside. think about it like this. It's like the universe is, let's just say the universe, like the outside is responding back to, it's just like that 3-year-old's just, okay, so and so's always complaining, we're constantly giving her and him stuff to complain about. Yep, here it is. And then like a little while goes and they're like, whoa, like this person, what now? They're happy, they're wealthy, they're in a relationship. Oh, okay. And sometimes the path of least resistance, because that's what's going to happen. The powers that be is give you the path of least resistance, because the universe is like that. It's instant. It's saying, oh, this is happening right now. We got to make that happen right now. Sometimes it looks a little funky. Sometimes it looks like it's a bad case scenario, but it's not. That's why people tell you, like, or I tell you, everyone tells you, like, hey, you have to give good meaning. You have to assign good meaning, because if you're convincing yourself internally that this is how it is, and you see something the opposite of that, then it has to be in your favor, because you know that, like, I call the shots here. So if I'm saying it's this way, that means it has to turn into that. Brad said that. He told me if I just stay here, it has to turn into that. Like, you have to give up the idea that something outside of you is calling any type of shot. Like, it's just responding. So step your games up. Step your game up, people. Like, if you're not seeing any quote-unquote movement, if you're not seeing anything happen, like, don't be thinking about that too much. Just stay in the, actually don't think about it at all. Just stay in the state, stay in the knowing, stay in the being, stay in the convincing yourself of this is how it is right now. Because like I was saying a second ago, like, it's, the whole world's just happening, and then it's just like, oh, Bradley or so-and-so's been in this state for a while. Like, this must be how it is for them now. This must be true, and we only ever give them back what's true for them. So let's make this true on the outside here for them. Boom. And then if it looks sketchy, if it looks unfavorable, it's not. It will be if you say that it is, though. That's how powerful you are. Okay? So you're not leaving anything up to the universe. You're not leaving anything up to the hiring manager at the job that you're applying for. You're not leaving anything up to your SP. You're not leaving anything up to the loan officer at the bank to approve you the money. You're not leaving anything up to anybody. Not the universe, not God. You were given the power to call your own shot. So you're leaving it up to you. And whatever you decide to be, it's up to you. Imagine God and the universe is like, hey, but it's up to you, bro. It's up to you. Like, remind yourself of that. Like, when you think, I'm just going to put it out there. No. They gave it back to you. No, what do you want to do? Because that's how this works here. And we're going to give it back to you, whatever you give yourself. Whatever you say yes to, we'll say yes back. Whatever you think's happening, we'll give it back. We'll show you that you're right. We'll show you that that your truth is true out here. That's it. Okay, I've rambled long enough. I love you guys. I haven't made a video for the membership side yet. I'm aware. A lot going on, pretty busy. I'm going to get on that, because I want you guys to be able to, like, when you purchase, to step in and there be some stuff going on in there. So like, what's going on in here? Nothing's in here. So yeah, I got you guys, don't worry. And then we'll do some lives and things like that. But convince yourself. You're the only person that you have to convince. Remember, nobody else exists except for you. They're just responding. That's it. Convince yourself. See you on the outside. Boss up. See you guys in the next video.